Takeshi sat in silence, staring at the blank page of his journal. The early morning light filtered through the window, illuminating the space around him, yet his mind was filled with shadows of self-doubt. The past week had not gone as planned. He had committed to waking up at 4 a.m. every day, convinced that mastering this simple act would unlock greater discipline and control over his life. But reality had proven more difficult than the intention. Out of the 7 days, he had only managed to wake up at 4 a.m. once. Each failed attempt weighed on him. The question gnawed at his thoughts. Did I overcommit myself? Why can't I follow through with something as simple as waking up early? His hand hovered over the page as he reflected on his struggle. But Takeshi was not one to give in so easily. He remembered a lesson from Miyamoto Musashi, the famed swordsman. Do not regret what you have done. Regret was not the way forward. It was an obstacle. Instead of lingering on his failure, Takeshi knew he needed to reframe the question. He stopped asking, "Why can't I commit to this?" and instead began to ask, "How can I improve?" This simple shift in perspective was the first step on a new path, a path of self-awareness, planning, and ultimately, mastery. Takeshi decided that the coming week would be different. He would not be caught off guard again. Just as a samurai prepares for battle, planning every move and studying every variable, Takeshi would prepare for his own battle, the battle of self-discipline. The first step was to make a plan. He opened his calendar and began mapping out his commitments for the week ahead. His job demanded focus and time, and he had social activities scattered throughout the week, but everything had to align with his new goal, waking up at 4 a.m. consistently. He began to research sleep, just as a warrior might study his enemy. According to experts, the average adult needs 7 hours of sleep to function optimally. Takeshi calculated backward. If he wanted to wake up at 4 a.m., he needed to be asleep by 9 p.m. To accomplish this, he would have to start winding down by 8:30 p.m. It wasn't enough to just set a goal. He had to structure his evenings to support it. Musashi's words echoed in his mind. You must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain. Takeshi knew there wasn't a single solution to mastering this new routine. It would require multiple strategies, trial and error, and most importantly, persistence. As he planned for the week, Takeshi decided on a practical, straightforward approach. He would set a reminder on his phone for 8:30 p.m., signaling the start of his wind-down routine. This would mean turning off all electronics, stepping away from screens, and preparing his mind for rest. He also planned to take a warm bath to relax his body, followed by a few minutes of journaling to clear his mind of any lingering thoughts or worries. To complete the routine, he would end his evening by reading, a peaceful activity that helped him disconnect from the day and transition into sleep. But the real challenge would come at 4 a.m. The temptation to hit the snooze button and sink back into the warmth of his bed would be strong. Takeshi knew this, and so he prepared for it. Drawing inspiration from his strategic mindset, he placed his mobile phone on the far side of the room. This simple act ensured that when the alarm rang at 4 a.m., he would have to physically get out of bed, walk across the room, and turn it off. It was a small but powerful tactic. Musashi's teachings reminded him, perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye. The true battle wasn't just about getting out of bed, it was a battle against his own resistance, his own excuses. The placement of the phone was more than just a logistical trick. It was a reminder that every small action contributed to the larger goal of mastering himself. As he continued to reflect on the past week, Takeshi realized that the journey wasn't about perfection. His failures were not final. They were lessons. He recalled another of Musashi's teachings. The purpose of today's training is to defeat yesterday's understanding. The previous week had taught him valuable lessons. He learned that waking up early wasn't just about setting an alarm. It was about preparation, consistency, and controlling the mind. It wasn't just about the hours of sleep, but about creating the right environment for rest. It wasn't just about willpower, but about setting up systems to reinforce his goals. He saw that his evenings had been unstructured and chaotic. Social events, late work, and distractions had eaten into his time, leaving him scrambling to meet his 4 a.m. wake-up goal. In his reflection, he resolved to better manage his evenings in the week ahead. He would say no to late-night plans, limit social commitments, and ensure that he was home by 8:30 p.m. every night to start his wind-down routine. Musashi once wrote, "You must control your own mind. If you cannot control your mind, how can you hope to control your body or actions?" Takeshi understood that the discipline to wake up early didn't start in the morning. It started the night before. It started with controlling his thoughts, planning his actions, and building the foundation for success. As Takeshi looked ahead to the coming week, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. He was not chasing perfection, but progress. The path of a samurai is not linear, but a constant refinement of oneself and habits. This time, he knew that balance was essential. He had learned that pushing himself too hard would lead to burnout, and so he would be kind to himself in the moments when he stumbled. As Musashi taught, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. This meant not becoming too consumed by the small failures, but instead focusing on the bigger picture. The commitment to waking up at 4 a.m. was symbolic of something greater, his desire to grow, to master his mind, and to improve each day. As he closed his journal, Takeshi felt ready to face the week ahead. He knew there would be challenges, he knew there would be moments of doubt, but he also knew that the true battle was within, and every decision, every action he took would bring him closer to mastering himself. With a clear plan, a determined mind, and the teachings of the samurai guiding him, Takeshi was prepared to walk the path of discipline once again.